Hello and a warm welcome to the NEXEEDit Summit breakout session, Use Case Quest, find the return on investment winner in your factory. My name is Marian Demme. I am a senior solution architect at Bosch Connected Industry, and together with Scharly from SIG and Irina Wetteborn, also from SIG, we have the great honor to guide you through our NEXEEDit Summit breakout session today. So I will start with a very classic situation. The project budget has been planned, 3 studies on IIoT tools have been prepared, and the new department focusing on digitalization has been established. But what exactly is supposed to be done? Which use case is my ROI winner? Imagine you are in this situation. And the answer to find out where to start is quite simple. The answer is methods and IIoT solution. But to be quite honest, it is not so simple, especially when it comes to the methods. I mean, an IIoT solution is quickly purchased, but it does not create any value. But when it comes to methods, it gets a little bit more tricky. This is why Bosch Connected Industry developed a methodology, very easy, in 5 steps to identify use cases, to realize them. Step number 1 is the identification of the use case. This is the most critical point here. This is why I will tell you later exactly how to identify the use case. But keep in mind, use cases like condition monitoring, data analysis, and so on are just buzzwords. They're not real use cases. And these funny terms will help us later on to divide our use cases into categories. Next step would be the user story. The user story is the summary of the use case identification in one clear sentence that everyone has a common understanding what is the use case about. This third step is the first time about technology. It's the solution architecture. It's more about the building blocks and not yet about a specific software. It's more about the key elements of our solution, how they interact with each other, and how we are handling network issues. The fourth step is the data flow mapping. Here we can see how the data flows through our architecture. And the last step takes the longest, but in my point of view, it's also the funniest part of our journey here, the implementation and realization of our use case. So step 1 to 4 are normally realized in a 1-day use case workshop on site. And step number 5, the realization in a 3 up to 6 months project together with our customer. But it is very important to have this workshop and the identification, because otherwise you spend a lot of effort in a non-profitable use case. But how to identify the use case? As I promised, 4 steps. Step number 1, problem. What are my problems? What are your problems? And therefore you definitely have to ask your experts in your plant. And it is not enough to write down the problem. Also necessary to ask yourself, what are the consequences of my problem and how often does my problem occur? And with these 2 questions, you can make a good prioritization of your problems. Take this part to the next step, visionary phase. Here you're thinking about what would be an ideal world without problems, an ideal situation. And this ideal world, these ideas from the visionary, take it to the next step, the rational phase. And here we're taking these ideas and visions and thinking about, okay, how can we realize this vision? And the next step, the last one, would be criticism. Here we are talking about, okay, did we forgot something? Are our stakeholders already involved? Do we have to think about the workers' council? And so on. So all in all, these 4 steps leads to the user story. Very easy, 3 steps. Who, what, and why. I have an example. As maintenance manager, I would like to monitor the parameters of my CDC plant centrally and live in order to prevent unplanned downtimes and to reduce downtimes and scrap. So very easy, we have a persona, who, what needs to be done, and the why we are spending so much effort to implement the use case. And in addition, we have a cost indicator, which gives us a first hint for our prioritization. The next step would be, as I already mentioned in the overview, the solution architecture and the data flow mapping. The solution architecture shows all building blocks, and the data flow mapping, the data flow through these key elements of our solution. But today I will not go more into detail what in solution architecture and data flow mapping is all about. Because the best part of our presentation comes now. The best part of our breakout session is not the methodology. The best part are our colleagues from SIG who have already implemented use cases with this methodology. So thank you for being here today with us and telling us your journey and your use cases.
Thank you, Marian. So Bosch Connected Industry and SIG started working together in 2018 for the Hanover Ferry. In the following year, we started with a starter kit from Bosch. That means we implemented 3 use cases with the help of Bosch. So we got to know the software and learned where it can bring benefit to us at SIG. After these 3 pilot use cases, we were ready to do the rollout ourselves. Scharly will tell you later more about how we set up the organization within SIG. But for now, rolling out means duplicating use cases and creating new ones. So today, the NEXEEDit software is used at 4 plants of SIG in 6 business areas, and about 60 devices are linked to the software. All in all, we implemented more than 50 different use cases. I brought 2 of the use cases today with me to give you little examples. The first one is one of the pilot use cases we implemented with the help of Bosch. So as probably many of you, we have hard intervention limits in our machines. We have these to ensure the quality of our products, but we wanted to go a step further. We wanted to do a statistic approach. This means we are now informed if the measurements have a big jump or if the measurements, too many measurements are above the mean. So, because then something is not going smooth in our production. The NEXEEDit software offers us rules that we can use to be informed if these things happen. So this means we could reduce our reaction time and therefore have less waste. The second use case is the vertical integration of the event cam. So sometimes we have errors in our production which occur irregular and rare. It's good that they occur rare, but it makes it very hard to find the root cause of the problem. That's why in the first step we installed the event cam. The event cam is a camera which always records, and whenever it receives a trigger, it will save the video. I brought an example here. Here the event cam is triggered when the robot detects that he lost his part. So this was great for a first step. Now our technician could see what happened. But we wanted, especially because of a lot of remote work, that the technician gets an information and doesn't have to go to the machine to get this information and also the video. So we use the subscription service of the NEXEEDit software that the technician or the production engineer can subscribe to the event and is informed only seconds after the event occurred. So this for me is a great example for digitalization because it combines hardware and software and makes the life of the people on the shop floor much easier. So I will hand over now to Scharly, who will tell you more about the organization within SIG.
Thank you, Irina. Hello from my side. Now the question, how did we roll out the NEXEEDit software in our company? So Marian told us we started with a starter kit, and then we ordered some more license for our company, and also we organized our organization in a startup organization with an interdisciplinary team of the operation department, also together with the IT, with the central unit manufacturing solution. And then we start to make the use cases together with our shop floor teams and integrated with the help of the use case method. We have 3 big topics for us relevant. The first one, the smart manufacturing. We want to understand our processes better. The second one, maintenance, not predictive maintenance now. I say digital maintenance now, but definitely we will get predictive maintenance. And the second one for sustainability, shop floor or manufacturing is the optimized energy management. Therefore, we have a process. We go there in the shop floor and we search for the right use cases. And do you already have a concrete idea of which use case you want to implement? Yeah. Maybe you have this, you can make it, or you don't have it, then you can make it together with the startup team. It's a small agile team. I always say the daily business is the killer of innovation. Yeah? You need a new team focused only on the innovation, and therefore is helping for the whole organization at the shop floor. Together with this team can implement the new use cases, and I already told, start small, challenge it, and make it big. Our learnings. Return on investment is not very easy, but I think identify the right use cases, implemented them quickly, and roll out worldwide in the last step. That is the solution. The NEXEEDit software solution for us a tool, helps us to understand the production processes better and faster, enable us to the predictive maintenance, starting with the digital maintenance, coming up to predictive, and also is a support for us in the PEP process. Thank you for your attention. And over to Marian now.
Yes, thank you very much for your time being here with us. And now, as promised, we have time for your question. And I will start also giving you a question. My question to you is, are you already implementing use cases systematically? And now you should have the time to answer the question online. And in the meantime, we can answer already, I think, some of your questions.
So I see a question. What happens once you have found the ideal use case?
Okay, as I mentioned during the presentation, if you have already the ideal use case, start with the implementation, of course. And also for the implementation, we have methods, methodologies. Zig presented one approach to go on and to realize the use case. If you have already the best use case in your company in mind, just do it and start with the realization. And as I presented it, 4 steps, think about to structure the use case. And the 5th step is of course the longest and the hardest one in reality, but it is always the realization and the doing stuff. So now I can see the results from the poll. So to the question, are you implementing use cases systematically? We have 29% no, 27% no, but some of them, so we have a split picture here. So some of you are already using methodologies to implement it, but some of you are just maybe in the situation I described in the beginning. So very, very interesting to see. And maybe for those who do not use a methodology right now, maybe my methodology from the beginning and also the approach from Nick can help you to analyze, structure your use cases, and so on. And for the ones who answered with yes, I'm very interested in what methodology you are using currently. And maybe after the breakout session, you have the time, you have the possibility to write me or one of the SIG colleagues via the online tool a message. Maybe I'm very interested, you could share your experience and what methodology you are using in your factory and in your company. So let's go on. If you have right now also questions, feel free to ask them directly in the chat and we will try to answer them directly here.
But I already see another question. So what was your most impressive use case experience in terms of ROI?
It's hard to say it in numbers. I don't have a clear use case directly in mind here, but yeah, I have one. In this return on investment phase, we achieved the return on investment directly during the starter kit phase because we achieved to prevent an unplanned downtime of a really critical machine. And one time it occurs during the starter kit phase that we detected this certain event, and then the return on investment for everything, the license, the effort of the implementation was directly achieved. This was really, really impressive to see. Yes. We have more questions.
So I think this one is for you, Daniel. How did SIG profit from the Bosch experience?
Bosch from us or from you? Yeah, definitely it's a possibility to participate in new developments of the NEXEED platforms, keep in touch, and I think this is helpful for us to make this together. A good partnership in digitalization is helpful. Yeah, and we make it together. If we have some questions, so with our startup organization, we can make it alone, the most of them. But if we have any questions, we have the direct contact to you. And this is really helpful for us. It was a very big experience for us in digitalization.
And for us, it's really helpful to see the requirements coming directly from the shop floor out of the Bosch world, to have an external partner gathering this experience. And also for me, it's quite interesting to see after a while what you're doing in the startup phase, and when we are in contact to see, okay, there are 1, 2, 3 new use cases are interesting to see how you're using our software in your company. Really, really a good partnership.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun on this use case and the project.
Yeah, really good. Do we have more questions? I do not see more questions, so take the opportunity. If you have questions, post them directly in the chat. We will wait maybe a couple more seconds. Otherwise, if you have other questions, feel free to contact us directly. Write us after the breakout sessions. We have the chance to directly write you back and answer your questions. So, if there are no more questions, I would say thank you very much. Thank you for your attention. Thank you being here with us, and wish you all the best within the next breakout session. Thank you.
Bye.